I'm sure we could cover a lot of stuff anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides, we can always have like multiple episodes too. So,
Yeah, dude, I'm down.
yeah, awesome. Awesome. Where are you right now, by the way?
Right now I'm in Switzerland.
Oh, nice. Do you like it there?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's nice. I'm visiting some friends and family, and then next week I'm going to Italy, and then I'm actually going back to the States. So I'm kind of like all over the place right now.
nice. So you've been in Europe for like a couple of months now, I guess.
No, no, actually, just I'm here for 3 weeks because the
Oh,
Fear Factory tour just finished in France. So I'm staying here between the European leg and the US leg
yeah.
of the demanufactured tour. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so I'm going back in pretty soon, like
Yeah.
10 more days.
It seems you had a very hectic summer. Like, I've seen that you've played some such an amazing shows and venues. So how was that for you?
Yeah, that was amazing. Like this tour was pretty incredible. I think it was like 26 shows
Oh,
um, in like over 18 countries. So, done some cool festivals like Wacken,
yeah,
obviously, and Brutal Assault, Bloodstock,
yeah.
Reload in Germany, Alcatraz in Belgium. So that was pretty cool.
Wow. That yeah. Was that would you say this was like one of your bigger runs touring wise?
Um, in terms of like shows,
Yeah.
not the biggest. I
Yeah.
think the longest and the biggest we've done was with Butcher Babies opening for Fear Factory in
Yeah.
2023, and that was like I think almost 8 weeks in
Wow.
Europe
Wow.
in the winter,
Yeah.
and I think actually this come and run with Fear Factory in the United States is probably going to be around 40 shows again. So
Wow.
it's pretty much going to be one of the longest ones.
Yeah.
So usually 7 to 8 weeks was like the longest,
Wow.
or is the longest.
This does sound insane to be fair.
Yeah,
Do you get like this sort of some sort of a fatigue of not being at home for like a longer period of time and just being on the road for such an extensive period?
a little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit. But I think it's usually the first couple of weeks that like are going by really slow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, we've only been on the road for a week or 10 days or 2 weeks. And usually after 10,
Yeah.
15 days, it's like going by so quick, you
Yeah.
know. I remember that run with Fear Factory where, the last 5 shows, I'm like, what? That's it? So, but generally, if you have a great time on tour, the shows are great, then usually it goes by pretty quick and you don't feel homesick,
Yeah.
like
What's
too
what's
too too crazy.
y-
At least
what
for me. Then everybody else is different.
yeah, yeah, I can imagine. What's like what would you say is the best and the worst part for you when it comes to you being on the road? Like,
The,
you know,
like the best what?
the best and the worst part of being on the road.
Oh, the best and the worst part.
Yes.
I mean, the best part is, well, obviously, you get to play your music or just music in generally in
Yeah.
front of people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, essentially that's why we're doing it, right? To
Yeah.
to to play live, to perform. Um, and then obviously there's, at least for me, like music has taken me to places that I, never imagined,
Yeah.
to go. And so that's an amazing part. So the traveling, getting to, having a chance to explore places, going to places where you normally wouldn't or couldn't,
Yeah.
under different circumstances. The worst part is um, not having. a steady home in a way. Sure, you're on the bus, but like, you sleep in a different bed. You always wake up in a different kind of place, different kind of environment, different dressing rooms, different cities, different. So sometimes it's just hard to like find a routine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're always adapting. Sometimes you got to do meet and greets. Sometimes you got to do. Sometimes it's like a festival. Sometimes it's a headline show. So times are always different. So you always have to adjust your routine or your daily schedule based on like around the schedule of the show.
Yeah.
So that to me is always like, the hurry up and wait kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think people sometimes really neglect exactly this aspect like of a musician's life when, at some point it does get very chaotic, and I guess it gets very tiring to constantly adjust to a new routine and to a new dynamic,
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, if we complain, it's on a very high level because we get to do what we want to do. But it's like when friends of mine or, other people in general, they're like, oh man, but you're on tour and, it's like, you play music and yes, but it comes with a price.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you just mentioned. Yeah. And not to forget like the, family events that you miss, weddings, anniversaries, and again, being away from your family, from your loved ones, from your friends and everything. So it's not always easy.
Yeah. I've always found it very funny because I find it very unfair that basically right now in society, it's pretty much unacceptable for musicians or for entertainers of any sort to complain. Although obviously there are very negatives when it comes to their respective activities, and I just find it very, again, unfair that you're in a position where you can't complain because the people opposed of you would be like, whoa, but you're being a rock star and you're playing stages, so you can't really complain. But at the same time, it's obviously there's so many things that make it hard as every other thing in life, right? So
yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
100%. I just think essentially we were able to do what we love. And I think as long as you do that and you're able to do that, and me personally, I'm really grateful to do that. So I can manage everything else very well.
Yeah.
So it's the negative aspect, if you will, is way smaller.
Yeah.
Compared to the things we just mentioned, like the traveling, getting to see new places, So it's a very small percentage overall in the whole thing. But it's not always easy.
Yeah. And I guess it can weigh you down, especially, I've always thought that probably the aspect that is suffering the most is like maintaining proper, healthy relationships, whether it's like with loved ones and friends or whatever the case might be. You're just not in a situation to do that, right?
Exactly. But not just that, but also on the road. Imagine like sharing a bus with the same people for 6-7 weeks, and there's so many different personalities, so many different characters. And so another thing that I find really hard is you're always surrounded by people. And that's not always bad, but it's like, on the bus, there's always people.
Yeah.
And then you go to the club, to the venue, there's always people, and everybody wants to talk to you, and then after the show, there's obviously the fans, they want to take pictures and don't get me wrong, I love doing all that stuff, but like at a certain point, you're like, your social meter is just really low.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I try to take walks, when, you have a chance, go to the city,
Yeah.
explore a little bit, and just try to step away a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that can be challenging sometimes,
Yeah, I can imagine that. And, I've discussed this with lots of musicians, friends, and I've personally, I can imagine this would be probably the hardest thing for me because I can't imagine if you are like slightly introverted and if you need your space and your time sometimes and you just
Yeah.
can't have it, it's
Yeah.
insane. I find
that. Yeah. Luckily for me, I mean, I love being around people and I'm always down for a good time.
Yeah.
So it's less of a problem for me, but sometimes I feel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, if you're like more like an introvert and, it happens, and I'm sure these people, they find their own routine, how they can escape that whole thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's
100%.
Yeah. So just to, get back for a bit, can you walk me through, your path in music in general? Because it seems that, you and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems you're right now. You're at the moment where your path is really gradually improving, and you're on the verge of constantly getting better and better opportunities. So can you walk me through how this started for you? How you achieved the level of progress that you are getting right now, and just give me sort of an overview in terms of where you are in general.
Sure. I mean, I've decided to, like everybody else, I've been in local bands and, you've done the local thing and everything.
Yeah.
So up until I was 28, I had my own band and we were doing smaller tours, just like club shows, weekend shows. And I noticed that I wasn't really getting anywhere here in Europe. And for some reason, I always had this idea of like, moving to Los Angeles and, try, my path in the United States. I also like here, how can I say that? I wanted to be in charge of my own future, of my own path.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I was doing the band thing, your singer suddenly quit and your drummer suddenly doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then, every 6 months I was trying to find musicians and it was just hard for some reason. So I was like, you know what, maybe a place like LA where I can just go and play with a bunch of people and be part of different projects, different bands and stuff like that. I could, I would make it up to me, and I would be in charge of my own path, if that makes sense. So when I was 28, I moved to Los Angeles and I started, playing with, what I just said, I started, playing jam nights, meeting people, and fast forward 3 years later, by playing with everybody and, people recommending you for other projects and stuff like that, I joined Butcher Babies. And from there on, I toured extensively with Butcher Babies till, this thing with Fear Factory came up, and they needed a guy to fill in. And, I happened to be there. I auditioned like everybody else and, it worked.
Nice.
But I guess your mindset is just really, really important, just, moving to Los Angeles, I set my expectations really low. In fact, I was thinking of moving back after 6 months, because I just didn't know what to expect. So every little thing that I achieved, even if it's just playing a show with a local band in LA or joining a project, a studio session, that to me was like always a major success.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Even though even though in the in the big spectrum, you would think, dude, it's just a session, or
Yeah.
it's just a gig. But to me, that was like, no, dude, that's a step forward. So it always kept me going and going and going and going. You know, so that was one of the things where I realized that you're you let your work speak for yourself. You know what I mean? You're just always on it and on it. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I've always done it.
That's amazing, by the way. And I think it's such a, I think this is such a precious and important mindset to have, because obviously, nowadays, and I guess, being in a position, how difficult it is for you to, properly be positive towards yourself, because you're constantly comparing with other people's progress and what other people are doing with bands, and you're just
Oh
sitting
yeah.
there being frustrated and just wishing for the same thing to happen to
Yes.
you. It's I find it amazing that you would you say that you developed and you committed to this sort of thinking, or would you say this was something that you just had naturally as a way of thinking?
No, no, that was 100% of development,
Mm-hmm.
because as you just mentioned, let's say you're in this like giant pool of people like LA, and you start meeting a lot of people, knowing a lot of people, and this guy's gonna play for this big artist, and this guy's gonna, or maybe you see a guy that you think he's not doing the same amount of work,
Yeah.
getting ahead of you. It's I was struggling with that in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but then I had to realize that, like, okay, so if I don't know if you've seen like the horse races,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
like the horses have like blinds on the
Yeah.
side, so you can't see left and right.
Yeah.
And I heard some kind of quote or some kind of analogy to these horse races, and I'm like, actually, that's it. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Put on these things and just focus on your own path forward.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this guy. Don't worry about that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so just concentrate and focus on your objectives, on your goal,
Mm-hmm.
and don't even worry about what's going on
Yeah.
around you,
Yeah.
because every individual has a different story, has a
Mm.
different history, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst thing that you can do, I think, is try to constantly compare yourself to other people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And over the years, I found it really important, instead of thinking, oh, why did this guy, got to play for this huge artist, fuck him, or, I'm
Mm-hmm.
better. I started thinking, regardless of he's better or not, what did this guy do or this person do to
Mm-hmm.
get there? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And, how can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a mindset thing? Is it a skill thing? Is
Mm-hmm.
it something I can learn? Is it something, I think it's really important to have your mind open to the positive things and not the negative things,
Mm-hmm.
because you just put yourself in a corner. and
Absolutely.
and and gratitude too, like gratitude in a way, like, fuck, man, I'm stoked for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stoked for this person.
Mm-hmm.
It shows me that it's possible,
Yeah.
because how many times um we were on a low and be like, oh fuck, this is, is this working? Am I on the right path?
Yeah.
And then you see other people making it,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, it's happening. It's fucking happening.
Yeah.
So there's a way. I just gotta find it. And I have to keep working.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so well said. And I think I guess another very important part is just experiencing gratitude towards what you are getting as well. When people are so much focused on what everyone else is doing, can you sometimes forget to just feel good about the progress you are making, which, is not to be neglected, right? So,
Yeah, totally. I mean, gratitude is man, it's really powerful.
yeah.
It's really powerful. And I try to, every time I complain about something, I try to go back and think, look, either like this could be worse, or you could be somewhere totally different. So, just kind of ground yourself back for a second. And it's hard, man. It's hard, like, um, but back to your question, that's a development over the years, and being surrounded by people that support you. Like my family, and my friends, loved ones, everything. And they're having a support system like that keeps reminding you of what you have is, I think, really important and really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I don't know, I'm always a very big supporter of the significance of the mind work that you need to do when you're in this sort of abstract field that is full of chaos, as we've discussed,
Yeah.
because people sometimes really, again, neglect how the lack of structure and the lack of routine is, affecting your mindset, and how even stronger you have to be in this sphere in order to be successful of some sort. So I don't know. It's that's why I guess I'm always so impressed by people such as yourself, or people, other people in the music business that has achieved so much, because knowing how much sacrifice and mental work this took is just, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. Like, even just recently, I've again, like, I just realized this a couple of years ago. Again, the whole mind thing that, that's like it's either your best friend or your worst enemy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I got into, for example, stoicism, and I started reading about Marcus Aurelius, the meditations, things like that, and Napoleon Hill. Like, I really started like, fuck, man, I need to, because I realized that if you can control it, if you can control your thoughts, and it's really hard. It's really hard, because you can really just drown in sorrows and negativity, and once you're in there, it becomes a dark place, and who knows when you're going to get out of it. It's and I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. It's I keep coming back to it's cliche, I know by now, but I keep coming back to that, like, Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone quote. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about, how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
It's literally that.
Literally. And it's, I think, in order for you to properly understand that, you have to have been through it, right? And at this time, you sort of start understanding, hey, like, I need to work on that as much as I need to work on my skills, because this is, especially with the time, I feel like it's, success, whatever you might understand under that term, is way more a matter of way of thinking and mindset, and being able to control your thought process rather than anything else.
I agree. It's literally your guide.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's, it can be your best friend or your worst enemy, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely don't want it to be your worst enemy.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously, even when you ground yourself there, moments of weakness and moments of doubt and, these sort of periods where, you slip up, one way or another. How do you, what is the method for you to deal with those and just to, whether it's an activity or whatever the case might be, how do you deal with those?
I call my mom and my dad. I'm like, this is not working. Fuck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, I think what I like to do is just go out running, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
do these kinds of activities, disappear for a moment, take a step back, and then just try to come back with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes long. I always try to stay on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, like
Yeah.
you lift yourself up. I'm trying to, I don't know, like I'm not feeling like writing a song today, or I'm not feeling like practicing today,
Hmm.
and I still try to push through it, do a little
Hmm.
bit,
Yeah.
and then don't overdo it. And then, I go and take a run,
Hmm.
maybe go have some food,
Hmm.
go to the beach.
Hmm.
Things like that help me a lot to
Hmm.
just like
Yeah.
regenerate, or, reflect on things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to understand, why is it not working? Why is it a low? Is it something I can control? Is it because of me? Is it because, I don't know, there's a downtime,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the industry, or, just in general, just try to reflect and try not to go crazy,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
running for me always helps,
Yeah.
hiking, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense, like physical activities. And again, I know this sounds very basic, but it does help a lot, especially with your
Yes.
mind. Yeah.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Because you kind of, you leave your studio or your basement or your apartment, and you're just somewhere, in a nice environment, a clean
Yeah.
environment, you know, and then suddenly maybe an idea pops and you're like, oh shit, I forgot
Yeah.
about this, or, oh, I could do this actually. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
if that happens, you're right back at it.
Yeah, yeah, and it literally takes, what I found. It literally takes like a second of an idea of something to feel optimistic about, of something that excites you to, like, turn it all around. And yeah,
Yes, yes, 100%, 100%. But I think what I try to do as well is try to practice patience. And
yeah,
it's, during these, because a lot of times maybe it's just a little downtime, but you've done a tour, you released a song, you wrote a record, whatever. Sometimes these things take time to develop,
yes,
and to get out in the world, and for people to notice.
yeah,
And sometimes you're like, oh fuck, nothing's happening. I'm depressed. What the fuck? I've
yeah,
done this and this and that, and I just try to, during these times, to practice patience too. And like, okay, we've done this. Let it
yeah,
go. Now,
yeah,
what's something new that we can start? Something
yeah.
new that we can learn? Something, I think that's an important aspect too, I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely essential. And especially when you think about music and any sort of creative work, it's so complicated because basically your success is as much dependent on yourself as to outside external factors that you can't control. And it's sometimes,
Exactly.
yeah. And it's sometimes like just the boundaries are merging so bad that you you do want to do more, and you do want to invest more, but there's literally nothing that you can do. And as you've mentioned, you just need to like sit down and wait, which I guess it's a difficult transition from being overproductive to not do anything. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Especially like if you come from a long tour, right?
yeah,
You're like you come home and you're like, that Pablo Escobar meme where he's
yeah,
sitting,
yeah,
it's like that. Okay, what's next?
yeah,
And you've been in this touring mode, and so it's like, oh shit.
yeah,
All right, let's pick up the guitar again or the bass and try to come up with things,
yeah.
or why doesn't the phone ring? What's next?
Yeah, yeah, it's
It, it, it it's crazy to not know what's next. Like I know what I'm going to be doing the next 2-3 months, and then it's like, fuck, I've no idea what's going to happen. And,
yeah.
and that's kind of a mind fuck too sometimes.
I mean, it's normal to be like we are, as people, we are programmed to always follow some structure. You start school, then you finish it, then you go to university, then you start a job, then you earn money, buy a house, and at some point you are like involved into this sort of a dynamic where, as you mentioned, you just don't know what's happening, and I guess even on a subconscious level, this can be stressful. We are just
Totally.
not, adjusted to this.
Yes, it's pretty much, you nailed it pretty much. It's
Thank
like
you.
we follow this pattern of society
Yeah,
that tells you, oh yeah, yeah, you have a job, you get a job, and then it's like, even on the job, you have a 9 to 5, whatever, anything. You don't. Let's say you have like every week you have a steady paycheck, you have a steady
yeah,
job. You can't plan things,
yeah,
but it's like if you have a bad day, you go to work, you don't give 100%, you're still paid.
yeah, yeah,
At the end of the week, end of the month. But for, I guess, musicians or artists, producers, if there's days where we don't do anything, nothing's coming in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like, or just like entrepreneurs in general,
yeah, yeah,
and again, it's a balance.
yeah,
It's a balance. Like it's easier for certain people and impossible for other people.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I've friends of mine saying, "Dude, I don't know how you do that. I need my day job. I need to know what I'm going to be making the next 6 months so I
Yeah,
can, I don't know, plan my vacation, my, like real estate purchase, whatever,
yeah,
anything."
yeah, yeah. It's, that's a very interesting point. I haven't really thought about, this the this fixation on the idea that you have to do something in order to function properly. That's a whole concept to perceive on its own. It's insane. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just, I mean, I'm kind of guilty of that too.
yeah,
I feel like I always have to do something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and it's this kind of pressure that it's like, okay, if I don't open my computer today and or touch my instruments, like then I feel like I'm going behind. I
yeah.
feel like I'm losing something. So I kind of I have this OCD thing where I always have to
To do something,
be working on something.
and you feel guilty and bad if you don't. That's the worst part.
It's like it's crazy. You feel guilty. You
Yeah,
know, it's like a drug. It's like let me get this
yeah,
shot. So I'm like,
yeah,
and even if it's just, dude, even if it's just an hour, you know,
yeah,
and you wanna, it's almost like you need that. What do you call it? Like um, confirmation or like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
approval
Validation.
to
Yeah.
validation to
Yeah.
sit back and maybe enjoy it,
Yeah.
the day or any.
Yeah. When you think about it, it's really some case of uh, workaholism, but it's, uh, I find it absolutely, perplexing because you find yourself in a position where you are so overworked and so exhausted and you literally feel you need a break, and at the moment you get yourself a break, you start feeling bad that you're not doing anything, and it's just such a toxic cycle, right? It's insane.
Or worse, you're finally saying, "All right, I'm gonna take a fucking break," and then you go on vacation. Then your phone rings. It's like, hey, oh, I need, can you record this? Oh, can you come and do this? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's insane. Um, at this point, right, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on that because I see that you're obviously doing so much in terms of touring, in your recording, and I see that you're spending a lot of time on content creation as well. And you definitely give a vibe of a person that is just constantly focused on doing something. And I'd be curious to hear because I found that problem with myself. When are you able to enjoy music as a fan?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, nice.
Because yeah, at least for me, music is still the biggest thing in life,
Yeah,
and again, for me, like music is so broad. It's like
yeah,
it's the playing, it's the listening, it's the creation of it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, 100%.
Nice, nice. I think that's so precious because I definitely, found myself in situations where I'm just so, um, I'm associating music so much with work and with any sort of arrangements that I'm literally not able to enjoy it, outside of that. So I think it's so precious that you can, save this initial passion that you have towards it and just enjoy it because obviously it's such a, you know, it's yeah, it's such a core part of your identity, right? So
Yeah, and I guess I mean, again, I can just speak for myself, but like I I'm not just a bass player. I'm not
yeah,
just a touring musician.
yeah,
So, I produce and I record and I write. And I think that's, a very important thing for me too.
hmm,
And it gives you some balance into this whole music realm,
hmm,
because, let's say this first half of 2025, it's been just studio.
yeah,
After we finished the tour, I went straight into the studio working with my friend Andy James and Five Finger Death Punch,
nice,
and I did that for 3 months, and then I went into work with Fear Factory on the production side of things and the writing side of things, and it's been such a long time in the studio that when now the touring season happened, the festival season happened, I was like, fuck, man, I can't wait to get out, and vice versa. When you spend so much time on the road, you're like, cool, man, you know, can't wait to get back and start writing some songs and recording and mixing and do all these things.
yeah,
So, yeah, sometimes, yeah, I feel blessed to be able to do these kind of things,
yeah.
and split them up.
Yeah, I think that's definitely such a good point in terms of that. It's definitely healthy to have different realms, so you sort of navigate yourself through them. But it's I'm definitely glad to hear that even when you are so much involved in so many different aspects, you still manage to just be a fan and just appreciate it and just enjoy it and just have a listen
Yeah,
and have a good time, I guess, and go to a gig and enjoy the gig.
100%. And people forget, or that at least for me, and in general, like successful people,
Yeah.
um, I'm obsessed with the idea of music
Yeah.
overall, right?
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, what you doing on in your free time? Besides the running thing, I watch all kinds of tutorials, mixing tutorials, production tutorials. It's just like, and I think to get where you want to be or to achieve your goals, you have to be obsessed with what you're doing, because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
And I mean, might as well just get another job,
Yeah. Yeah. So well said, because I've often thought about that, because with the obsession, obviously, you start developing some unhealthy habits sometimes if you're not really balanced. And you know and I'm thinking about that, and I was having a period where I was trying to like distance myself from the things I really want to do. And yeah, things start to slow down and you start enjoying time and you start having free time. And after that, you just start missing having like, this focal point in your life that you are committing yourself to, which I think it's so much more important than anything else. Just knowing that you have a missive that you are attacking every single day, and that, when you are waking up, you are literally excited about doing
Exactly.
another step.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, because sometimes I do, I guess, envy people that can just stay in their homes and be calm and have a calm mind for a couple of hours. But after that, I'm like, I don't think I want that. I just want to be striving for something, if this makes sense.
Yes, 100%. And it's your driving force. It's your purpose. It's your,
Yes,
it's
yes,
like, and I guess if you just, have a job and you go to work, then, it's not that big of a deal, but, you're basically trying to build your empire. You
yeah,
try to build your own world. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yeah,
And then again, like everybody has different boundaries, and
yeah,
you set your own boundaries and your own limitation.
absolutely, yeah,
And I 100% agree that, obsession can be unhealthy and people can get annoyed by it.
yeah,
And it's like some people say, it's like a 24-hour job,
it is.
because I mean, inspiration can hit you at any point, an idea can hit you at any point, or you're thinking, like sometimes it's crazy because I zoom out of conversations, and I'm like,
Just yeah,
oh, this upcoming US tour, man, or oh, this song or this
yeah,
mix. Oh, it's crazy. It's
it
it's
is.
yeah.
It is. It is. But it's so, I don't know. It's so, again, is, back to what you said earlier, it's really about a mindset, because at some point I was perceiving this as a negative thing, but then you, you sort of, I mean, I started being grateful for it, because I can't imagine people not having this just sort of a passion that is such a big driving force. And it's so, yeah, it's exhausting, but at the same time, like, how do you want to spend your time if you don't have that? You know,
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
be, I don't know, it would be, I would feel as being such a big waste of opportunity.
yeah. I mean, look, the people I look up to, they're all obsessed with what they do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I mean, you've done an interview with Zoltan.
yeah,
And he's one of the people that I've been following forever, and he's got like all kinds of different things, from like, five finger to jujitsu, and
yeah,
all that stuff, and you can tell there's like a passion behind it,
yeah,
and there's an obsession behind it.
yeah,
So, like even just recently working with, Dino in Fear Factory, dude, it was crazy. He was doing so many things. He was like planning the tours and work on a sound package, and we work on the record, and you do all these different things. And I would see him, getting tired at one point, but he's like, dude, I love it. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, I feel that's the right mindset.
Yeah.
That's how you accomplish things. If you
Yeah.
just procrastinate or put things aside, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
And, it's so inspirational for me, when I meet and, communicate with those people, because sometimes you really are thinking like, oh, I'm doing so much, like nothing is happening, and I'm tired. And then you meet a person like that who is on a whole another level, and you're like, I really need to up my game. It's
yeah,
insane.
and yeah, and well, that, and also, again, coming back to the whole complaining kind of thing,
Yeah.
like, dude, you're, you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
There's people getting up at 6, 7 in the morning, work all day in construction,
Yeah.
and like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I'm using this as some grounding techniques as well too.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly,
You have to.
exactly.
You have to. Uh, okay. So do we have more time, or do you want to like? I guess we should finish.
Okay.
But I definitely would love to have another one.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I
Yeah,
agree. I
that
agree.
was fantastic one. Honestly, I really enjoyed that, and I think that there's so much that we can discuss. So I'd love to do that. So let's do it.
I agree. I agree. It's not. I mean, I didn't expect it to. I mean, I didn't know what to expect,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I think there's definitely like a lot more to talk about, dude.
Yeah, I'd love
100%.
that. I'd love that.
So I'm super down to do another episode, like if you want,
Yeah, let's
like
do it. Let's we'll release that one and we'll do another in the, we'll see when, but I definitely would love that because we covered so many interesting things, and I think there's so much more that we can talk about. So yeah, let's do
yeah,
it.
dude, 100%. Yeah, and thanks again for reaching out. I'm like super
Absolutely,
super down to do
absolutely,
that.
absolutely. Like, obviously, I've seen you on social media, and I've seen again. It's I was really impressed because I love seeing cases like you when I see your genuine growth just happening before my eyes. And it's like
Okay,
with
okay.
the studio sessions and the little covers and butcher babies and then the festivals, and it's I don't know. I think it's so cool when I see these sort of success stories just
Yeah,
happening before my eyes. So yeah, it's
yeah.
amazing.
And I think it's really cool what you're doing too, because like
Thank you.
watching these kind of like, where you don't just talk about like, you talk about like serious shit, like
Yeah,
things that like, for like I don't want to know how much, oh, how can I say this? Like I want to know the mindset
yeah,
of someone like Zoe,
yeah,
or these people. I want to know like what their thought process was, how they picked themselves up from like
yeah,
a shitty day or a down or whatever.
yeah.
So when you reached out, because I watched your interview with Zoe, and I was like,
Nice.
oh shit, So
Yeah, thank you. This honestly means so much, and yeah, I just think I literally think like exactly what we were talking about. That it's the the most fascinating thing about the artistic mind is exactly what we are talking about today. Just balancing everything and finding your right path and all of that. Like I know that for the end user, the music is the most important bit, which, is
Yeah.
fine, but it is
Yeah.
a result of this mentality that you have developed. And it's just, I think that's the most, fascinating part of what all of you are doing. So, yeah, I'm
Uh,
just, curious for me to explore it. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude, and thanks. I mean, you saying that and noticing, like shows me too. Like, okay,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I won't take more of your time. I'm very sorry for the delay again.
No,
Thank you
no
for your
problem.
time. And yeah, let's
Of course.
definitely do another one. I'd love that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm down too. I don't know when you want to do it, but like,
Yeah, let me
maybe
drop
after
your
the tour or something. Yeah,
Yeah, let me drop your message. We can coincide that with any plans that you might have as well, so we can,
sure.
reach some promotional points. But yeah, we can just keep in touch and we'll work it out. I would love that.
Cool.
Awesome,
Awesome, man.
awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Hristo.
much.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thank you. Pleasure, and I'll talk
Appreciate
to you soon.
it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.